Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 13th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. It was a good Thursday. I will say the only snag I really had was my throat was sore. I started noticing that as I got to work, and I was like, that's a little odd. I don't know if I'm getting sick. I hope not. I hope I rally fully by tomorrow and it doesn't get worse, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted. I got that weak throat. Pause. But no, today was good. All things considered, that aside, work went fine, went well. Gym went well. I got to push it a little bit harder on some free weights. I went from 50 to 55 at least one time to try it out, and went well. Didn't kill myself, so that feels good. We love that. And yeah, here we are. Let's see. Food corner last night. What did we eat? We had a soup night. It was nice. It was easy. It was very quaint. A little spicy chicken noodle soup, piece of bread, some salad. Nice and easy. So yeah, that's all my personal stuff. Really quick and easy there. Let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. Oh, I did want to add, not so much a correction, but an addition. On the episode previously, we were talking about Google changing, you know, cultural months, pretty much deleting them, taking them out. You know, whether it be LGBTQ, women, Black History Month. Another thing is too. Trump had said, hey, we're going to be renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Well, they've officially become compliant on that. So I think the way it works is if you pan out enough, it's the Gulf of Mexico, because that's how the world views it, at least most of the world. But as you zoom in closer to America into the Gulf, it changes to the Gulf of America, which is very cringe. I felt like I'd be remiss to not mention that. Also, another bit of side news here. Elon Musk and Sam Altman had a bit of a tiff with some money, almost like a money fight or something. Essentially, Elon Musk said, "Hey, I want to buy OpenAI for, I believe, $100 billion." I mean, that's a lot of money. And, OpenAI is supposed to be this nonprofit situation. And even so, as they're trying to maybe shift to, either a hybrid model and, a profit model, for-profit model, that's more money than they've ever seen or generated. So that's a big deal. It's a big proposition. But Sam Altman countered with, no, I don't think so, but we could buy Twitter. I could buy Twitter for $10 billion, which is a huge slap in the face, but essentially that's what he's saying it's worth. I mean, he's that far off. Who can say? Who can fucking say? Also, some more side news while I'm on it, before we get to the main course. I believe they found that the Trump admin was trying to allow the sale of 400 Cybertrucks or something. They were trying to buy 400 Cybertrucks to arm them, make them armored Cybertrucks, which sounds so crazy. I imagine for some kind of government vehicle situation, crazy. But this got all uncovered after people were saying, hey, we got to give this whole Doge situation more scrutiny, Elon Musk more scrutiny. So they looked into the books and they saw this, and I believe it was filed away in some miscellaneous thing. It almost say, hey, is this hidden? What were we trying to do here? Be slick about this shit? But I don't know. I don't have a link or confirmation on that. That's just some shit I saw on the ether. We'll say that. Plausible deniability there or whatever if I got it wrong. Anyway, let me, take my sip of this thing. We'll get into the real news I had queued up for today. Oh, man, it really does feel since since the inauguration, things have been just so nonstop. I feel more times than not, just trying to keep on with all of the Trump verse news it's hard, especially because there's other news, there's other things happening alongside that. And this is definitely a different administration. I was thinking about that too over the past like couple days of like how different Biden administration was in terms of being like so cloistered, quiet almost, not doing much. Trying to put off this like, facade of like, oh yeah, we really are helping, really are making things happen, so much change, blah blah blah, blah. But here we have Trump, which obviously I don't agree with any of this fucking shit that he's fucking doing outside of the prisoner swap shit, but he's so kinetic. Like he's just boom, 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 and it's a lot. It's just so different. And I think in 2016 I didn't have the podcast, so in a lot of ways I was keeping my head down. I was just like, yeah, Trump's a thing, and the things that are happening, like I would see maybe some headlines, but I keep it moving. But now that I'm like, it really feels like I'm on my eye on the sparrow shit. It's just so crazy to see that. Like this is just a completely different admin than I've ever seen. Even like Trump is moving faster than his old self. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The Trump 2.0 is definitely another animal. Anyway, let's go to Munich. Let's go to Germany and talk about some news there. From USA Today, suspected attack injures 28 in Munich after driver crashes car into protesters. Let's see, this is site. Excuse me. Cooperates with me. One thing I don't like about USA Today is the way the site is set up. It's too junky. It's too many ads. It's too many like side reels. It like breaks the site, which breaks my computer, and it's very annoying. Anyway. A motorist injured 28 people Thursday in Munich when he plowed into a crowd of union demonstrators who had gathered in the city center, German police said. Munich police said on social media, the site X, that they had detained a male driver, a 24-year-old man, Afghan citizen, who was no longer considered a threat. The crash is believed to have been a deliberate attack. Marcus Söder, or Soder, I'm going to say Söder, Bavaria's governor, said in a media briefing. He also tried to say that this was all unrelated, that like the person who did this, the assailant, he didn't do it because of this conference. But I don't know, because essentially the way it plays out is he pulls up, he stops in front of like the police and some demonstrators, if I'm not mistaken, and then he just proceeds to try to plow through as many people as he can. So good that no one has been killed as of yet, but I know at least 2 people have been seriously injured. So yeah, obviously this is a very unfortunate event. It's very sad. I know that this was the little summit situation I mentioned in a previous episode where there's going to be potentially some talks between at least Zelensky. I believe Marco Rubio and JD Vance are going to be attending, and they're probably going to be having some kind of side talk situation. And then I believe there's going to be another conference or thing in Saudi Arabia, and Putin's going to be there. I've even heard, too, on the Ukraine front, in terms of that, and the negotiation talks, which is seemingly overnight, have kind of ramped up, where Trump has mentioned, I believe, Putin coming to America, which it's been a long time since that happened. I remember watching I don't remember the exact like what year it was, but Putin came to America and did like an interview, I believe, with like ABC or something to that effect. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll be getting another Putin visit. That'd be kind of crazy. Oh, another war criminal on U.S. soil. What a surprise. Anyway, like I said, turn to the worm, baby. Like I said, this is a new beast, a whole new animal growling. But yeah, I did want to start off with the story. It's very unfortunate, very sad. But like I said, at least to my knowledge, silver lining, I haven't heard of anyone dying from this situation. I haven't heard of any fatalities, so that's good. Knock on wood, clap it up for that. Hopefully, it I mean, granted, seriously wounded is no nothing to sneeze at, obviously. Actually, I'll go ahead and read this part here. Munich police, who said they fired a shot at the vehicle, initially said at least 20 people were being treated for injuries after the crash, at least 2 of whom were seriously wounded. So, like I said, it's definitely no small talk, no laughing matter, of course. And you see the Cooper, like, it looks like, maybe that's just because it's a fucking Mini Cooper, but, I mean, it looks like it did hella fucking damage. But, yeah. Definitely an unfortunate situation that took place in Munich, so I wanted to start there. But yeah, I mean, we gotta tiptoe through the Trump verse again. So it goes. We're living there. It's like Jumanji. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what it feels like every day. We just gotta. We're in the jungle, baby. Anyway, from ABC News. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. narrowly confirmed by Senate as Trump's health secretary. I want to pause right now. Once again, y'all know I like to point out when I can, when I notice it, when it, like, it's one of those things where it just feels so odious. Like, this was not narrow. This was just Mitch McConnell, fucking Glitch McConnell, saying like, hey man, this guy's actually gonna make America sicker again. Okay, cool, man. Congratulations on your bar of the fucking century, old as this motherfucker is. Okay, cool. No one else came along with you. It was a 52-48 vote. This went exactly as we expected. I'm not Nostradamus, y'all. I'm fucking Oscar the Grouch. Like, I'm a dude who works a trash compactor. Even I can see this shit from a goddamn mile away. Like, the shit is already locked, bro. Every one of these freaks are gonna get in, bro. We have Linda McMahon. I believe she had her little Senate hearing, which everyone loved the pun of, like, Linda McMahon enters the ring. Like, that's so corny. It's too on the nose. It's too easy. You gotta go, get a little more creative. But whatever. We take it. We love a pun, period. But, I mean, we've already heard Trump saying, like, hey, the thing I want McMahon to do is essentially take the job and then quit the job because I want to more or less delete the Department of Education. I just want to get rid of that shit and then maybe resculpt it in whatever the fuck I want, aka something that funnels your kid into like a private charter school or some fucking shit that you can't afford. Or what? Just some terribly even worse version of whatever public school is now. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm a child of public school, so I'm not really hating on it that hard. But it is one of those things where it's like, you just see where the wind is blowing, and it doesn't matter whether there's a Republican in office or a Democrat. It seems like there is this like lax in education one way or another, and we only really talk about how the scores are so bad and how we're lagging behind all these other countries. But internally, as a country, what are we doing? We're putting more and more of an emphasis on private schools and less on public schools. So, I mean, what does that tell you? What is the takeaway from that? That's neither here nor there. This story is about RFK Jr. He's getting his thing. I'm sure he's not going to miss a beat in terms of just, once again, to quote Mitch McConnell, make America sicker. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know. There's always a part of me that would love to be an optimist in this. I was talking to a coworker today, just kind of venting, just, extrapolating, pondering, whatever, where I was thinking like, I'm like, am I a bureaucracy bitch now? Like, do I like government or something? Like, what's wrong with me? Because technically what Trump is doing on paper is like, hey, we're trying to downsize government. Government's gross. You hate it. It's intrusive. It's in your way, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, that's just a tagline. That's just a populist thing that sells on everyone. Because everyone kind of doesn't like the government that right. Of course. Sure. But at the end of the day, what is he going to do with it? He is going to give you less and then potentially just repopulate these things. And like, sure, he's downsized it, saved America some money, but now he just has his cronies in. Now he just has his loyalists in. And they're going to do whatever the fuck he says. So this is why I say, who knows? We could be talking to our next God Emperor, or about our next God Emperor, our next king, because he might not ever leave. Like... Or he might clearly just be setting up the road where it's just like, yeah, I mean, you're going to keep voting for this kind of bullshit and it's just going to not change. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll see. I'm already in the weeds here, just kind of just thinking out loud here on my Ed Sheeran shit. But, I don't know. It's a weird world. It's a weird time where I'm just like, look, I'm not some kind of government shill guy or whatever, but like, yeah, regulation fucking sucks. Controls fucking suck, but they're there for a reason. Do you really want the rails to just fall off and just be this like anarchic, chaotic bullshit? Because guess what? You don't thrive there. Only the rich do. You're just dangerous game. That's you on a good day in this fantasy world that these people are pushing. So, I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on. We got an update in the Eric Adams fiasco. I mean, they let him off the fucking hook, but, now motherfuckers are feeling the backlash. Anyway, from the Associated Press, prosecutor who quit after refusing to drop Adams' case says she's confident he committed the crimes. Yeah, once again, this is a weird moment where I find myself in the same fucking bench, in the same fucking group with a Republican. This time a Republican prosecutor by the name of Danielle Sassoon, which I gotta say is kind of a cool name. I don't really think she's a cool person though. But anyway, Manhattan's top federal prosecutor, Danielle Sassoon, and 5 high-ranking Justice Department officials resigned Thursday after she refused an order to drop corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams, a stunning escalation in a days-long standoff over the Trump administration prioritizing political aims over criminal culpability. Sassoon, a Republican who was an interim U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, accused the department of acceding to a quid pro quo, dropping the case to ensure Adams help with Trump's immigration agenda, and said she was confident the Democratic mayor committed the crimes spelled out in his indictment, and even more. Before the showdown, Sassoon said prosecutors had been preparing to charge Adams with destroying evidence and instructing others to destroy evidence and provide false information to the FBI. We've talked about this a decent amount. I just wanted to kind of add this to, the timeline, so to speak. Like I said, I agree with Sassoon on this. It's crazy. We have a slam dunk case here. Why wouldn't we see it through? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You want me to wait until after a fucking election? And then, like, what? If he wins, then you're not going to let me? Like, I at least respect the balls in Sassoon to say, no, I'm standing on business. This dude's cooked. This dude is so fucking corrupt, and we could get him. Let's get him. But essentially the powers that be, at least just highlighting Pam Bondi, was like, when she got the power, when she got the reins, she's like, yeah, I'll look into why she's not dropping the case. Sassoon wrote a letter saying, like, this is how I feel about it, and essentially read the fucking tea leaves and said, okay, I'm out then. Fine. Deuces. But it looks like the Department of Justice is going to get their way, and this case will probably get dropped if you have Sassoon giving up the ghost here. Because that's what I was waiting to see, right? Like, okay, on a federal level, they aren't pursuing this, and they're telling it to be done. They're saying it's quashed now. But there is a chance that, motherfuckers are going to be like, no, this dude's guilty of sin, and I want to get a fucking win here. And essentially they said, nah. And it's this kind of cruel kind of irony that this Republican fucking top prosecutor, or whatever the fuck, is taking the bullet and losing her job, or at least giving up her job, however you want to fucking view it or see it, whatever. And it looks like Mayor Eric Adams is going to be able to get back to jet setting, you know what I mean? Using the Turkish Airways. And, as long as he is, anti-immigration in New York, as long as he's doing his Republican bit, which, I mean, he's a fucking cop. I've said this before. Like, that's not a problem for him, dude. So he did his little glaze session at Mar-a-Lago at the inauguration, and look what it got him. Once again, damn, it's a damn shame. Bob Menendez, if only you had glazed a little harder, if only you had a little, I don't even think it's that. I think he just didn't have the juice. You know what I mean? Everyone knows you had the gold bars in your pocket. Like, nah, bro, that shit was in your closet. Like, you're Googling how to fucking, and like, what to do with this gold type shit. Like, no, man, you're cooked. And Trump knew that, so he wasn't backing you. You had no zhuzh, no juice. But Mayor Eric Adams, I guess his ass did. So he's going to still keep at it and be a free fucking bird. Funny. Anyway, let's move on. There's more details, but you can read about it if you'd like. Moving on, though, to CNN. Joann, the bankrupt fabrics retailer, is closing 500 of its 800 stores. Joann, the fabrics and crafts retailer, is closing more than half of its 800 stores in the coming months as it continues to navigate the bankruptcy process. Approximately 500 stores across the United States are closing, the retailer said in a statement to CNN, saying that right-sizing our store footprint is a critical part of our efforts to ensure the best path forward. This was a very difficult decision to make, given the major impact we know it will have on our team members, our customers, and all of the communities we serve, a Joann spokesperson said. I will say, just getting anecdotal, I was like scrolling through, Facebook the other day, Mark's app, and I saw someone saying like they were kind of having a little bit of a minor freak out because like Joann is their store. Like they get all their shit from there, and essentially their store is closing in their local area, and they're like, well, I don't know what to do. Like I'm sad as fuck right now. I'm like, damn, that's shitty. That's a bummer. So I definitely kind of kept my ear to the streets, so to speak, or the feed. And I picked up this saying like, oh damn, well there's a reason that store went belly up. They're closed down. They're getting the fucking bid locks treatment. So end of an era, so to speak. Now we don't know exactly, each and every store, which ones are closing, but court filings reveal stores are closing in all 50 states, with California, Florida, Indiana, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, and Washington among those heavily affected by the closures. The major reduction in its footprint comes after Joann filed bankruptcy last month for the second time in less than a year. The retailer first filed Chapter 11 in March of 2024, but it emerged a few weeks later as a private company and kept all of its stores open. I feel like I did not cover that, so, and that kind of makes sense if they were able to resolve their Chapter 11 situation. It was more or less a blip on the radar. But, now we have a situation where it's still not sustainable and they're having to do more cuts. So that doesn't look good. It's not looking great for Joann. It really just seems like no matter what, however you slice it, we are not escaping 2020. Like, I think I've kind of gotten out of my haze maybe towards the middle of 2023. I told myself stop bringing that shit up, bro. Stop making that reference. It's so annoying. But companies, it was a rude awakening that the buck stopped yesterday, bro. You gotta tighten this shit up. And for so many companies, it's proven that no, the writing's been on the wall. You cannot sustain yourself. You have to now cut down. You have to potentially close down. So, we'll see what comes of Joann and some of the other stores we have been talking about in the past in terms of their bankruptcy situation. I saw an ad while I was swiping on Tinder today where they were pushing some Red Lobster. I was like, oh damn, look at them. They're fighting the good fight. They're not saying die. So I mean, hell yeah to that, Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our last story of the day. We got to cover the closing of an Ape Escape. Maybe Ape Escape is not the right word here, whatever. But anyway, let me go ahead and take my last break and we will close it out. Look, it's a video game reference. Either you know or you fucking don't know. Don't come for me in the comments. Unless it's like, oh, I played Ape Escape. It was shit. It was great. It was great. Don't say it was shit, though. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest Ape Escape fan. I mean, whatever. Ooh-wee. All right. From the Associated Press. Last 4 escaped monkeys are captured in South Carolina after months on the loose. They got them. They got our monkeys, man. They're back in captivity. Free them. Authorities in South Carolina said Friday the last 4 of the 43 escaped monkeys have been recaptured after 2 months living in the woods, weathering a rare snowstorm, and being tempted back into captivity by peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Also, I want to add, too, shout out to Last Podcast on the Left, Side Stories. They talked about the story today, or I guess yesterday, and I listened to it today, and I was like, oh, shit, okay, perfect. So, they're doing the Lord's work. The rhesus macaque monkeys. Oh, also they talked about the Zizians too, way better than I did. Just so you know, I'm hoping to eventually have like a data download about that when we get to some trials or shit. But whatever. Anyway, sorry. The rhesus macaque monkeys, all females, made a break for it after police say an employee did not fully lock their enclosure at Alpha Genesis, a facility that breeds them for medical research, known to locals as the Monkey Farm. The recaptured monkeys appeared to be in good health. Alpha Genesis CEO Greg Westergaard said in a statement relayed by Yemenese police. in a social media post without further details. While they were on the loose, the area saw its first snow in 7 years, accumulating up to 3 inches or 8 centimeters. So yeah, I mean, crazy that these monkeys experienced snow for the first time, that they were in, just a climate and a place that was all too foreign for them. I mean, but granted, I mean, they were literally in a research facility, so I imagine it's at least actually closer to normal to be in some trees and hanging out, with your monkeys, just having a good time, your homies. Also, I'm sure I mentioned this previously, but this is all the monkeys were female. Nothing that matters, but just a fun fact there. But yeah, I was curious how this story was going to resolve. I'm at least happy to hear that none of the monkeys, died in any kind of like grievous way, any kind of bad way. I know that the whole time they were trying to use like humane traps. They used the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They used the thing called like monkey biscuits, which is like essentially like kind of like a puppy chow kind of situation, but curated for them, kind of like some kind of mixture there, whatever. So yeah, I mean, ending of a story there. I almost wish that they could have just gotten away. You know what I mean? At least a few of them, right? Maybe just one. But hey, so it goes. They are back in captivity, and sadly, they're going to be experimented on for medical purposes, I guess. So there's that. But yeah, free them. Anyway, that's the episode for today. I'll leave it there. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Instagram. I appreciate any of the new follows on there. There you go. You don't interact much. That's okay. That's all right. I appreciate you just looking at the pictures. That's cool. But yeah, Spotify, that helps out the numbers. YouTube, that definitely helps out the numbers. You know what I mean? The algo gods. Rocco's Modern Basilisk or whatever, you're feeling that AI that'll eventually be our overlords. And, anyway, I'm getting Zizian. Anywho, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. It can be fun. Try it out, maybe, or don't. It's okay. I honestly, one of my little joys, my little pleasures is when a homie or, someone hits me up and is interacting with me, and they're talking to me about something, and I'm like, how do you know that? And it's like, well, dummy, I listened to you. And it's like, like it just made, I started blushing. I it's so funny, dude. I truly love y'all, my dear listeners. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.